Welcome back to GSL Code A with Wolf and Artosis. We're in the losers match. Yep. Journey against Deer.
Both of these players dropping down 0-2. And we've actually had, I'm thinking back, I think every single fourth place player we've had in all the groups so far has gone 0-4. I think without exception. As far as I can look back, yeah, actually I'm sure of it.
Okay. Well, so far I think that every group had someone that looked like, just looking at the group, you're like, oh, this guy's by far the worst player in this group.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like we've just reached this point where there are very few rotating in new faces.
Maybe not with Group C. Group C didn't have really anyone that was like by far the worst, but all the rest.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe Journey can take the game.
Well, I mean, Deer definitely is not playing his best right now. And I still think he's going to go 2-0 here. Our very first map will be Merry-Go-Round, a 3-player map. Both of these players on the brink of defeat and going back to that Code A qualifier. They do not want to be there.
No, certainly not. Especially poor Journey without a team.
Absolutely not, Artosis. Let's jump into this first game. Starting to the top right, in red, our Protoss player, he is
Deer.
Former STX and Seoul player. One of the very first revolutionary Protoss players in the heart of the Swarm in Korea.
Looks like he fixed his keyboard, by the way, so that's good.
That's really good news.
And then his opponent up here in the top left.
Journey.
Lost 0-2 before. Didn't actually look very bad for like a new player that you've never seen play on TV.
Yeah.
Like, when I see a player like that, I get pretty impressed because I thought he played pretty well overall. So, you know, even when you look at him and you're like, well, you don't belong here, but one day you might. Yeah. You know?
It's really unfortunate for him that he lost his team. Either that or decided to separate from his team. We don't know the reasons, but
yeah,
he's no longer a part of his team, which then puts him alone. And being alone in Korea against players who all have elite training partners to work with is never the place to be. And he came off of like the most elite team, which is
that's true. It's a team that if you get on somehow, you probably don't want to leave. So I don't know. I don't know though.
I think he was actually, I mean, just looking back on it, he was never really at the bench. He never actually came to the Pro League studio. So I think he was probably just like a B-teamer on the team. I don't know if he even necessarily lived in their regular team practice house.
That's true. You know, some people that join teams actually live at home, and they're like sparring partners sometimes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he made it into Code A, so maybe. I mean, it would be a weird time to kick someone, but
he's been trying so hard to get into Code A. The reason why I know his name so well is because I see him in the brackets every single time, and I have for a really long time. I'm sure you have as well. You know, just looking around, seeing who's trying to qualify. I think I cast one of his games with Caldor once at like a qualifier, like a TVP played or something.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't really count, I would say, as a televised match, right?
Do you remember like anything about that game, or probably not?
If I remember, what I feel like happened was he lost the game because he overmade Vikings. That's like what comes to mind.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's definitely a mistake.
I think he lost to Sora. Actually, I think that's who it was up against.
Sora's a beast. Last time you commentated those, he was still like one of the best up and comers. So
yeah.
Even though he did fail to make it out the other day, very sadly.
Yeah, it was tough. Well, let's see what builds these two players have in mind. Obviously going to be a Reaper Scout here. Wants to see, you know, for example, where's the third pylon? How much gas have he mined potentially? Because Deer actually did cut a lot of gas mining to get that Nexus up much faster. Something he probably will notice with that Reaper.
Indeed, and let's see, gets in here with this probe. Sees the second racks. And he saw the third racks. So, this is like all the information in the world, basically. Knows as much as you can ever hope to know with a probe scout against a Reaper.
Oh, I was like, well, I mean, there's a lot more to know about the world. Artosis, like how like penguins migrate and stuff. But yeah, all he needs to know about is Terran base.
Matters which penguins.
I never watched Happy Feet. I don't know what that's about.
It's not very good. I don't really care for it.
Okay, thanks for giving me that heads up, because now I was probably not going to watch it, but now I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Penguins generally don't really dance, but never. Wow, look at that robot.
Yeah, that needs to be a new unit in Legacy of the Void.
Wow, he's really messing with things over here.
That should be the mule animation for repairing actually air units. Just flies up and does that. Well, this Reaper is not getting anything else done, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's about it for him. Now, we do have that concussive shells on the way. Looks like we might have some little bit of early move out here from Terran. When you get concussive shells that early, I feel like you want to be out trying to snag units as best as possible.
Yeah.
And from Deer, it looks like he's going about as safe as you can really go, right? He's going into 3 gates and a robo. And, you know, if you scout quick 3 barracks like this, it's basically what you got to do.
Yeah.
This is how you make sure you're not going to die. With 3 gateways and a robo, you're going to have everything you possibly need to hold any sort of shenanigans.
It's true. You're going to have detection.
From 3 racks, that is.
You're going to have quicker Colossi out.
You can grab an Immortal.
Yeah, I was going to say, he may even get an Immortal because...
Nothing's like an Immortal early game, man. Those things hold anything. They kill Marines, they kill Marauders, they kill
Roaches, Stalkers.
Yeah. It's just early game, one of the best defensive units for sure.
I think it may be the best in the game.
Maybe.
It's like better than static defense.
Yeah, it is.
Static defense is basically just like an OP unit, but can't move, but the Immortal can move, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good way to look at it. Well, we do have that Colossus tech coming up, as well as a Forge. Meantime, Stim and a Factory on the way. Interesting that he did get those concussive shells so quickly. And, okay, he is moving out a little bit. Okay. That's what I wanted to see. Probably leading with the Marauder in that pack as well. No, it's in the back. That's weird. You'd think you'd want to have that up at the front because he does have concussive shells.
And the concussive shells.
Yeah, because in a case like this, see that Stalker that got away? If that Marauder was in the front, that Stalker is now dead.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of an oversight. He's going to get the Observer.
Well, he gets the Observer. That's nice. The fact that he's still microing against us and he knows there's concussive shells, pretty manly moves here from Deer. But definitely just a little bit of a mistake from Journey.
Yeah.
To make, like, he spent gas and upgrade time getting that for 1 Marauder and then had that in the back of his army. Definitely a mistake.
That's just a very small mistake that, you know, you and I can look at and say, well, that could have been much better.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Colossus and Blink on the way, as you would expect. And, oh, a nice quick 3rd base.
This seems to be becoming more popular in Korea right now. Feign this big pressure and then take a 3rd base. And I think Terran's just starting to realize that if you get this 3rd base up fast enough, you get those gases up fast enough, you really can switch between Ghosts and Vikings a lot easier. And that's like kind of how the late game in this matchup is played in the Terran's perspective. You always have to be making sure you don't have too many Vikings and you have enough Ghosts, because you pretty much can't have too many Ghosts. They're pretty strong, but you got to manage that ratio.
Indeed, and the thing is, it's the splash damage from the Protoss army that kills you. And when your supply gets high enough, your ball of stimmed junk is going to kill Zealots and Stalkers pretty darn well if it has no splash backup. So if you commit enough of your supply to get those EMPs off, to get those snipes off, and to push Colossus back with those Vikings, you're basically home free. So, well, that's the thought behind it. It's not ever so simple in practice.
Never.
Unless Protoss looks away and all 8 of his High Templars on one hotkey gets EMP'd, which happens to us sometimes.
Sometimes, I've been thinking about this a lot. I feel like Terran players should be adding Ghost Academies in way faster because they're so cheap. And you don't have to add the Ghosts until you need them. But like the build time to make the Ghost Academy is really the limiting factor, not the cost of the Ghost Academy itself.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
How do you feel about this? Because I've been looking at this a lot, and sometimes the Ghosts are just not ready in time. And it's like, I
don't like adding it too early.
Not super early, and not even this early, for example, but like
just a little bit earlier.
Just like, much faster than we're seeing it right now, because usually it's like, okay, as High Templar, now I'm going to make my Ghost Academy. Why not just have the Ghost Academy a little bit faster when you're expecting the transition? Then as soon as you see the Templar coming out, or when you see the Templar Archives getting chronoed or something, like, now I'm getting my Ghosts.
I guess it matters what style you're playing. Like in Maru's style, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, okay.
For maybe a regular Terran style, I see what you're saying, but like with someone like Maru, he'll let you go Storm for a bit and just run through it in micro.
Real mind stuff.
I think something like that's fine because he's spending every penny making things, you know, making stuff happen. So, not with a style like that, but you know, that's not every Terran for sure.
Yeah, Maru has his very own unique way of doing things. That was a very short-lived drop. These Vikings in a good position zoning-wise because there's only 2 sentries here. He's not going to have a hard time doing damage to his Colossi. Here come the Stalkers, though, and one of those SCVs the wrong direction.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there, but I guess they were probably going to die either way. A little unload from Journey over in the center of the map. This map feels so big right now to me. But hold on, we have a lot of Stalkers at home trying to defend against this Stim and run up. Now he does use that Nexus Cannon. Is that going to be enough?
Well, I think with a few Warpins at home, it should be. There's the Zealots coming in.
No.
hard to say, actually.
You know what? Yeah, he actually pushed forward against those Zealots a little bit too long there. It looks like he was looking at home. He should have actually attacked the Zealots first. But it looks like he's going to just barely hold this. Thing is, he has lost quite a few SCVs.
I'm actually not sure if he's just going to barely hold this, actually.
Well, maybe not. But he's gone down to 23 SCVs either way. And that's pretty rough.
Warp-ins are going to kill him, I think.
Yeah. Definitely looks like he's just warping around his Zealots from there.
Yeah.
Or Stalkers. Both work completely fine.
I think he chooses Stalkers because he's like, all I got to do is protect this Colossus against Vikings, and I'm going to be golden.
And, of course, with Blink Micro, you're going to be completely fine. Whereas, you know, in little skinny areas, you can micro against Charge Lots very, very well.
Well, I mean, these units are coming out one by one. Not going to be the best way to fight this. Stalkers blink in, the Colossus at the back to give support. And Deer is going to take a pretty straightforward game one here. May lose that Colossus, but the ground units are more than enough to clean this up. They're going to blink forward. There they go.
Well, this is going to be it.
Yep.
Deer is going to be able to take this game pretty easily overall. Not too tough. Here's the thing. His probe got in early. He scouted what was going on. He saw that there was 3 Raxes on the way. He went for a safe build after that, defended against obvious incoming drops. Like, they are obvious.
Right.
And, like, unless you're Maru, you're not going to make obvious drops work. So it was kind of one-sided, but, you know, this is a champion here going up against a kid playing for the first time on TV.
And you can see that look of frustration on his face. A player like this can never expect to get out of a group of 3 players that are of the caliber that he's up against.
Yeah.
Even if, you know, he studied their play like crazy, he knows
one of the
every
harder
aspect.
Groups, for sure.
It is, actually. You know, he's kind of like this piece in the group that is almost just like a skipped player with how, I mean, this is actually just like so sad. And again, we said this earlier, but he's just so much lower caliber than the other players that they're just kind of looking at him like almost like a bye. Like, you have to play another matchup, but like it's almost like a bye. Like somebody is missing from the group.
Yeah, like I guarantee you, Deer did not practice that much PvT comparatively to PvZ coming in. Like far less. So next map, Habitation Station.
I wonder if he's going to lift. It could be his last game in the group, and actually I would not be surprised, to be honest, Artosis.
I've said nice things about him. I think he has potential. If he lifts, I'm going to have to take some of that back.
Well, Deer wants to get this second win and go into that consolation match. This is the last chance for a former SKT player journey. Can he bring it back? Let's find out what he's got planned on Habitation Station.